Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We offer stories of infidelity, betrayal, and redemption. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Now, on to today's story. 1 year past D-Day, my update reconciliation throwaway account, but I like this sub. Here's my story. 2 years ago my in-laws got cheated out of a home they purchased by a shitty contractor, so they asked if they could pitch in for a bigger house for us to pay 20%. Yes, stupidly I did that. BC, they were always nice, and the greed of having a nicer bigger house in a great neighborhood seduced us. My wife went on Ashley Madison and met a guy, and it only took 4 days for him to talk her into going to a hotel. She did on a Friday and got as drunk as I'd ever seen her that night. She told me the very next day, at the next possible moment after recovering and the kids went to bed. She was guilty and very remorseful. She got wasted due to severe guilt. I did get confirmation from AP's wife of that timeline, so she was telling the truth. I was shocked and sad and fell into trauma. Unfortunately, the affair fog was heavy with her and she could not stop, but every time she told me, crying, and said I was the most important person and hated herself doing this. That lasted about 3 months from D-Day, when I finally got a hold of AP's wife and she put a muzzle on AP. The AP was in sales, so needless to say he was very good at manipulating. Even telling my wife that polyamory was the way to go and selling that to her at her most vulnerable. It's like my wife was an addict and was stuck. MC compared it to an alcoholic. Said affair fog was no different. We went to counseling and I found out I wasn't being the best partner in our marriage. I agree with that. Obviously it's not my fault for cheating, and our MC was very diligent to tell my wife that. Note, my wife never one time blamed me for cheating. I did learn a lot about my wife. Things I wish I knew before. Her mom is an absolute duckhead. She's a narcissist who never really wanted kids but had my wife. To her, love was you get good grades and I'll love you. Seriously, no unconditional love ever during my wife's childhood, because her dad was always working, so her bitch of a mother could sleep all day at home. It was love based on conditions which are insane. It makes sense that my wife would run to BFs as a teen. She always had one, and we realized it was because they showed her unconditional love and she craved that like any human would who never got it at home. If I knew anything about her mom, I would have never let her live with us, but I didn't see the signs. She was nice to me and okay with my wife ever since she left for college years ago. Well, her mom started being a bitch living in our house. Being messy, bitching. It's like she totally changed. And her dad, now retired, was like a shadow everywhere. He followed us all over. We have 2 young kids, so needless to say our marriage was being distanced because of her parents living with us. We couldn't even have a real conversation unless it was in the bathroom. At some point we were so distanced and her mom was so bad it triggered her childhood response to flee from her parents to find someone to love her. I 100% admit I was not doing that. In fact, I was being an ass a lot of the time due to living with her parents, so I can see the thought process. IC and MC helped a ton. It really did. I think I have some level of trust for my wife because she never one time hid this from me. She also constantly went on huge emotional swings on the APBC. She felt terrible doing what she did, even though it was an addiction. We had a few brutally honest conversations and she said she can't live that life. Having sex with someone else is not easy. She said she can't give a part of herself to somebody else, especially when it's hurting me. She can't not tell me things. That's been proven over and over again. It's been 9 months since the affair ended. She's got her Apple GPS turned on, always calls during work trips, local, and has really done about as much as I can ask from her. I'm better, but I've lost faith in humanity. I just don't blindly trust anyone anymore. I still go through swings myself. I love so much, you're my soulmate too. I think I'm going to D. Thoughts of D have not been as lingering. Honestly, this is so hard. I hate what happened, but I can't deny our marriage feels better. Her parents moved out months ago and therapy helped greatly. I do still go to IC and will for a long time. I think we'll make it. I have hope. If my wife had hidden this for a long time or I caught her, I'd be done. Also, if she loved AP, I'd be done too, but she didn't. Her confessing, putting in a ton of work and showing extreme remorse is why I'm giving her a second chance. This was a one-time duck up, not a trend. Wish us luck. I hope to be past this at some point. You are a better person than I am. Facts. Staying with someone who abused you doesn't make you a better or worse person. This kind of thinking needs to stop. Same with thinking someone else is your soulmate. It's the same thing when people say they need closure, then get closure and still don't feel any different. Not trying to be anti, but soulmates are fantasyland BS. Closure is the day you wake up and realize you haven't thought about it for a week. Soulmates to me just means you have a strong chemistry when you first meet. Heaven help you though if this person is a jerk. Chemistry doesn't translate into character. The one thing I don't get really is, you said she went to AM and actively seeked someone out, her AP. So that was a very conscious decision. Then the next day, she comes clean and then she continues her affair with her AP for 3 months, and each time she tells you after she met with him. If I got that right, then I seriously need to know how you survived these 3 months and why you haven't kicked her and her parents out. But I am pretty sure that I got you wrong there, because at the end you write that it was only a one-time duck up, so not 3 months of cheating on you and humiliating you by telling you about each of her encounters, right? Right? She said I cheated and now I'm going to continue for the next 3 months. That's what's cruel. Sigh. Ear not real. Have to agree with this. She wiped her feet on you repeatedly and you just forgave her every time. Now she knows she can get away with it. What's stopping her from doing it again? Feeling guilty and confessing every time still didn't stop her, did it? Also addiction? To what? Betrayal? Another man's charms/penis? Most people call that selfishness where we come from. She wanted it and went for it. Confessing after the fact doesn't absolve her of what she did, and neither is you making excuses for her behavior, which is what your entire post reads like. You have literally made excuses for everything that she did, including her conscious decision to disrespect and betray you repeatedly. But hey, that's okay, cause my wife is addicted to having sex with a man she met 4 days before they went to a hotel the first time. I think you should reread your post and figure out how to have a little self-respect and stop being a doormat. Like the previous poster said, you are definitely a better man than me, depending how you look at it, of course. Can't hide things from you. Well, besides the texts that began the EA, the texts that led it to become a PA, and the texts after that lead to the poly convo, and it only culminated in her telling you after it happens and after she got drunk to try to drown the feelings. If you want complete honesty, you need to be honest with yourself first. If you want to give her a second try, go for it, dudeski. But don't sugarcoat it, and be prepared for the monochromatic waves of emotions that wash away most of that color. At least for a nice chunk of time. It's your time you're reinvesting into this woman who could do such nasty, terrible things to do. The same woman who knows exactly which buttons to press in which sequence, to get the desired result. So I hope you realize that blind faith you want back so badly is the set of rose-tinted glasses which she shattered, revealing a lot of colors and shades you never thought she would exhibit. Now it's not your fault those were shattered, that's on her. But it's your responsibility to realize that those glasses were never a boon to you, only a smokescreen for her. So you accept this new visage of her, wholly, or you move on. I just hope you aren't falling into that sunk cost fallacy trap that lets abusers back into the lives of the ones they hurt, because like I've said before, we humans tend to like the path of least resistance, even when we can see it's not the best one to take. Good luck, my friend. I hope you're going at this with as much research and education as possible. For your own sake. Thanks. Truthfully, what you described is what I struggle with. We've been together 8 years, married 7. She has never been such a piece of shit like that except for 3 months out of 8 years. I say one time BC, it was a one-time episode that lasted 3 months of being a complete shit human. Again, I think remorse helps. It sucked being told repeatedly that she ducked up again, but to me that's way better than stories of LTAs that are hidden and then caught by the BS months or years later. I am hopeful. But PLS, keep in mind I am not 100% reconciled. I'm still on the fence and probably will be for a long ass time. That you know of. It's rare to read someone's first affair after 7 years on Ashley Madison and meet a guy after 4 days. Unless there is some greater mental illness. This is very extreme behavior. I think what she needs to answer you is, what is she doing to keep herself from making the same decisions again? According to what you wrote, the situation at your house made her so unhappy, that she escaped to her lover. That then made her even more unhappy, so she came to you and confessed while crying. That in turn, probably seeing the issues she added to the marriage while the already existing issues remained, made her run back to her lover. A vicious cycle that she may not have started, but that she took care that it spiral further. So the situation with her parents has been improved as they are out of the house, but that is only one of the issues gone. The others remain, and since reconciliation is a very tough road, there are still many issues there. So what is she doing now to keep herself from doing the same again? How is she reacting now when she has to face what she did and the damage she caused? I read what you wrote about her sharing her location and all that stuff, but that is not what I mean. That stuff is only taking care that it is a little more difficult to give in to her desire to do the same again. But what is she doing to work on the core issue, the desire to run to another man when not everything is sunshine and rainbows at home? Is that even something that can be worked out, or do you need to police her for the rest of your life and accept that this desire is in her forever? Wait, you married a woman after being with her for 1 year? Yeah buddy, not enough time to see their true character. I won't even consider commitment to a relationship before maybe 6 months and meeting her friends/family. I don't get her coming clean after days and then betraying you like this for 3 months. I fell into trauma hard and completely withdrew from the entire world, including my kids. She felt alone and stupidly thought AP was the only one who cared about her at the time. Yeah, doesn't bode well. Man, I wish you luck, because your wife cheated on you so easily, even when you didn't do anything wrong. A lot people had a bad childhood experiences and have bad relations with their families, but they don't cheat on their spouses, using that as a kind of justification. Sorry, English is not my first language. Please ask for a polygraph. How many apps have you had during your marriage? Ask the question. Cheaters improve themselves. They erase their traces or direct them by taking a second phone. You think she is in the room, but she wanders elsewhere. Your calls are already forwarded to the other phone. She doesn't answer the phone because she sleeps. Your wife is aware of her fears and you don't want to break up with her, and you let her act as she pleases. Bye. Op, you need to press the eject button ASAP. She knowingly cheated on you for 3 months and she knew that you knew. Let me ask you this, in the 8 years you were together or the 7 you spent married, were you ever unfaithful to her? I understand you may not have been nice to her or there for her emotionally, which obviously is a problem for any marriage, but this is a problem that you can work on together. For someone to cheat continually while their spouse is aware of it is someone who does not deserve to be married, period. Divorce her. Remember, we all have baggage. There is no excuse for infidelity and emo never coming back from it. Wish you the best of luck, but remember, life is short. Don't torture yourself. Your potential new love interest could be waiting for you to move on. Just a thought. Affair fog is a real thing. No, I'm not making excuses for it, just acknowledging what it is. I didn't believe that when my therapist told me that it was an addiction until I went to a men's group of betrayed spouses, and literally every single guy there had the same issue with affair fog from their partner. It's like she was a different person then, not anymore. It really is like an alcoholic or drug addict based on everything I saw/the men's group experienced. Read that again. I had trauma, not her. And her parents moved out last September, so it's been a long time since they lived with us. Not excusing anything. She was a shit human being. And she knows that. But honestly, I'm seeing that this sub should not be named Surviving Infidelity because none of the users appear to want reconciliation. It appears it's 100% they cheated, divorce them around here. Very black and white. But honestly, I'm seeing that this sub should not be named Surviving Infidelity because none of the users appear to want reconciliation. It appears it's 100% they cheated, divorce them around here. Very black and white. The surviving part of r/surviving infidelity is not your marriage surviving. It's you, the individual, surviving. The reason people are so jaded here is not because they took the stance of they cheated, divorce them over reconciliation when it happened to them. It's because we did the exact opposite. Most of us have been in your shoes. Most of us wanted to save our marriages. We read about affair fog, how to reconcile, went to couples therapy, tried to be more emotionally available, etc. We thought the people telling us to get our heads out of our asses were just jaded, too. They didn't know our spouse, our history, our situation. Our circumstances were different. We lived it, not them. Lots of us have been you. We have tried it your way. And saw it ultimately fail, spectacularly and miserably. We are trying to save you from the same mistakes we made. We have been you. And one day you will be us. Goddamn, that sounds terribly sad. That is real life, not the fantasy land you are trying to build. Not today, maybe not next year, maybe not even 5 years from now, but one day, chances are you will run into a hard wall called reality. For your sake, I hope you are the exception that proves the rule. But this group is full of people who hoped they were that exception only to crash hard into reality. It is, but it's also the truth. Straight from the sidebar. Welcome to the club that no one should ever have to join. If you're here, it's because you are surviving, or have survived, infidelity in a relationship that you thought was lifelong. This is a safe place to give support and guidance to each other. Infidelity is one of the most painful experiences you will ever have to survive. Regardless of your decision to stay or to go, you will have to overcome a tremendous amount of pain and emotional scarring. You can do it. And we're here to help. If you would like to just read, please use the flare filters at the top of the page to help. If you want to submit a post, please read the following information. If you want to reconcile, that is on you, your choice. But if you do that, realize that you have been a doormat. Glad the folks are gone. But come on. First, do you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you have the whole story? Odds say that you don't, and it does not sound like you want to get them. Next, what has she done over the last year to prove that she is safe? Gone to ICOK, what has she told you about her actual reasons for cheating, the real reasons? Not that you did not give her enough attention, surely. That is the first way that they try to gaslight you. There are deep reasons that I am betting she has not really dug into. So, you say that you have trauma. Okay, did you cheat? No? I guarantee you that with a mother and a father that you describe, brother, she has trauma, plenty of it. Why were you okay with any of this? Why did you continue to take her back? Why? You think everyone is being hard. Okay. But just so you know, the title is Surviving Infidelity. Not allowing infidelity in your life and living with it. So tell us everything your wife has done to help you heal, to work on her issues, to show you she is trustworthy. I predict that if you continue believing and acting as you are, then you will find out down the road that it was not worth it. You will see another instance of cheating from her. The reason a lot of posts sound the same is that there is a cheater's handbook, we have read from it and lived it. There is also a basic method of working through this stuff, and it is not allowing your wife to screw her boyfriend for 3 months after you discover her affair. Assuming there is more, I don't care about the whole story. This was 9 months ago. I got the timeline from AP's wife, so that was that. I also know from AP's wife that he is 100% not talking to her. She put a tracking device on his phone and made him quit his traveling job, so he's been at home with her constantly. He also lives about an hour or so away. And why would I ask for more? To potentially re-traumatize myself? That does not sound like a good idea. It is what it is. She was a shitty human and now she's trying to prove that person for 3 months is not who she really is. I'm not sure what you want Waywards to prove. She was very remorseful, she went to therapy, she purposefully let me know where she is at all times for work to prove she is not doing this. What do you want her to do exactly outside of that? I know this will not convince you. But I will try one last time. She was a shitty person, and she is a shitty person. She is still lying to you about screwing him for a year while you were gone. I know you are in denial, even if you do not realize it, but you are. If you are any type of combat soldier, do you think being in denial of a situation is a good thing? In combat it gets people killed needlessly. Is that the kind or person that you are? I get a feeling you are not. Would you lead your man into a place where you knew you were lying to yourself? I don't think so. I don't get that feeling. So why are you now allowing denial into your life? She was sleeping with him the whole time, but if you admit it to yourself, then you have to look at reality. You don't want to see reality. While a part of me understands that feeling, it is hard to accept from a military man. Most of the time, leaders have the responsibility to deal with reality. In this situation, you are not dealing with reality. You know it, and everyone on this thread knows it. The reason that I am concerned is this: at some point, even if you are in denial, even if you don't want it to, the truth will come out. When that happens, you will be more devastated than you are now. I have lived these things, I would hope to spare you. But you have your mind made up. Living in denial, and willfully lying to yourself will come back to hurt you. I wish you would listen to everyone, but you are set in your mind, for now. I wish you well with your path. I hope it works out for you. I will not bother your thread anymore, but I wish you well. Or you could look at it like a very large group of people from around the world, like a large crowd source, most of whom have had experience with this and generally think divorce is the best course of action most of the time. And all of the time when the infidelity is so extreme. You're right. The sub you're looking for is r/as after infidelity. It supports reconciliation. It can be as much of an echo chamber as this sub, but it may suit you better. My thoughts if you're interested. You're justifying her affair by painting it as an addiction. You're choosing to ignore that she went seeking it. It was a conscious and deliberate decision. She logged into a device, went to AM, registered a profile and searched for an affair partner. She then met up with him and had sex. All before the affair fog had time to take hold. Then she chose to hurt you again and again and again. Even whilst reconciling, it's important you recognize that. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please comment, like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night. Wherever you are.